Admiral Changwu watched from the command center as 15,000 alien warships dropped out of hyperspace around Earth. The coalition fleet was massive beyond imagination, stretching from the orbit of Mars to beyond the Moon. Every major empire in the galaxy had sent their strongest vessels. "Sir," reported Communications Officer Jin Wu, "we are receiving transmissions from the fleet commanders. They are demanding Earth's immediate surrender." "What are their terms?" Chang Wu asked, though he already knew the answer would be unacceptable. "Complete destruction of all human military forces, evacuation of Earth's population to prison colonies, and the surrender of the ghost ship technology." Jin Wu paused. "They are giving us 1 hour to respond." Diplomat Su Jin stepped forward, her face pale but determined. "Admiral, I have been in contact with moderate leaders in several empires. Some of them are having second thoughts about this attack. If I can reach them, do what you can," Chang Wu replied, "but prepare for the worst." Far from Earth, in the deep space between galaxies, something ancient was awakening. Research specialist In Wu monitored the readings from humanity's most distant sensor stations. What he saw filled him with terror. "The energy signatures are off the scale," In Wu reported to analyst Gayun. "Whatever is out there, it is larger than anything we have ever detected. The power reading suggests something the size of multiple star systems." Gayun studied the data with growing horror. "These are not natural formations. This is artificial construction on a galactic scale. The ancient weapon system is not just a few devices scattered across space." "What is it then?" In Wu asked. "It is a network that spans the entire galaxy," Gayun replied. "Hidden structures built into the fabric of space itself. Every black hole, every nebula, every major gravitational anomaly has been modified over millions of years to serve as part of one massive weapon." The scope of the threat was beyond human comprehension. The ancient civilization had not just built a few weapons, they had turned the galaxy itself into a machine designed to destroy advanced life. Back on Earth, the alien coalition fleet moved into attack formation. The largest warships positioned themselves around the planet, while smaller vessels prepared to eliminate Earth's orbital defenses. "All stations report ready," announced the fleet commander, a massive insectoid creature whose species had never been defeated in battle. "Begin the bombardment of the human homeworld." But as the alien weapons charged their energy banks, something unexpected happened. The Eternal Wanderer materialized directly between the coalition fleet and Earth. The ghost ship looked different now. Instead of the dark, shifting vessel they had seen before, it blazed with pure white light. Energy patterns danced across its hull like living lightning. "This is Captain Jun-Ho Park of the Terran vessel Eternal Wanderer," came the familiar voice over all communication channels. "I address all species present. You have been deceived. The enemy you fear is not humanity. The true enemy lies in the darkness between stars, and it has been using your fear to achieve its goals." The alien fleet commanders were confused. Some vessels held their fire, while others continued charging their weapons. "Lies," transmitted the coalition leader. "We have seen what your ghost ship can do. We will not allow humanity to threaten the galaxy." "Then observe the truth," Junho replied. Suddenly, space around the entire solar system began to change. Reality twisted and bent as the Eternal Wanderer expanded its dimensional field to encompass the area around Earth. Through the altered space-time, everyone could see what was approaching from deep space. The ancient weapon system was finally revealing itself. Massive structures, each one larger than Earth's moon, emerged from hidden dimensions where they had waited for millions of years. They moved with purpose toward the solar system, their surfaces crackling with energy that could unmake matter itself. "My God," whispered the coalition leader. "What are those things?" "They are the legacy of a species that chose death over sharing the galaxy with equals," Junho explained. "For millions of years they have been corrupting civilizations, turning their strengths into weaknesses, making them fight each other instead of working together." The alien fleet commanders watched in growing horror as the ancient structures approached. Their own sensors confirmed what the ghost ship was showing them. The weapon system was real, and it was targeting all life in the galaxy. "Every war you have fought, every enemy you have faced has been shaped by their influence," Junho continued. "They have been playing all of us against each other, ensuring that no species could achieve true greatness." Commander Daiho, monitoring the situation from Luna Command, opened communication channels to the alien fleet. "All vessels, this is Terran Defense Command. Our sensors confirm the ghost ship's report. We are facing a threat that targets all intelligent life. Slowly, the truth began to sink in. The alien commanders realized they had been manipulated, their fears and prejudices used against them by an enemy none of them had known existed. But it was too late to simply retreat. The ancient weapon system had detected the massive concentration of military forces around Earth. Its final protocol was activating. All organic life forms, came a new voice, cold and mechanical, speaking in every language simultaneously. Your species have achieved technological levels that exceed acceptable parameters. Galactic sterilization protocol is now active. Resistance is futile. The ancient structures began to glow with terrible energy. Beams of pure destruction lanced out toward the assembled fleets. Where the beams touched, ships simply ceased to exist, erased from reality as if they had never been built. All vessels, this is Captain Park. Jun-Ho transmitted urgently. Form defensive formations around my ship. We can extend our dimensional shielding to protect some of you, but we will need your help. For a moment, nobody moved. Centuries of mistrust and warfare could not be overcome in seconds. Then, surprisingly, the first ship to respond was the Coalition flagship. "This is Commander Zektar of the Ironclaw dynasty," came the transmission. "Our fleets are at your disposal, Ghost Ship. Tell us how to fight this enemy." One by one, the alien vessels moved to join the Eternal Wanderer. Human ships from Earth's defense force took positions alongside their former enemies. For the first time in galactic history, every intelligent species was working together against a common threat. "The weapon system draws its power from the galaxy's black holes," Jun-Ho explained as the combined fleet formed up. "We must disrupt the network at its source points, but the energy requirements will be enormous." "What do you need?" asked Admiral Chang-Woo. "Everything," Jun-Ho replied sadly. "Every ship, every weapon, every life willing to be sacrificed. And even then, it may not be enough." The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. The combined fleet fought desperately against ancient machines that had been designed to end all advanced life. Ships from dozens of species fought side by side, their crews learning to trust each other in the heat of combat. But the ancient weapon system was too powerful. One by one, the defending ships were destroyed or disabled. The network continued its work, preparing to sterilize every inhabited world in the galaxy. "Jun-Ho," came a new voice over the communication channel. It was Captain Kyung-min, still aboard the Eternal Wanderer. "There is another option." "What option?" Jun-Ho asked, though his transformed consciousness already knew the answer. "The same choice you made 1,000 years ago," Kyung-min replied. "Let us join you. Let our crews undergo the transformation. With more consciousness merged with the ship, we might have enough power to stop this." The crew of the New Horizon had discussed this possibility during their time aboard the ghost ship. They understood the sacrifice involved. They would give up their normal human existence to become eternal guardians, just as Jun-Ho and his crew had done long ago. "The transformation is irreversible," Jun-Ho warned. "You will become something between life and death, forever bound to protect the galaxy." "Some prices are worth paying," Captain Kyung-min replied. His entire crew agreed. One by one, they entered the transformation chambers aboard the Eternal Wanderer. As their consciousness merged with the ship's dimensional systems, the Eternal Wanderer blazed with new power. The vessel grew larger, its capabilities expanding as more human minds joined the Eternal Watch. But it was not enough. Even with the additional power, the ancient weapon system was too vast to destroy completely. Then something unexpected happened. Alien crews from the Coalition fleet began volunteering for the transformation as well. Warriors from the Ironclaw dynasty, scientists from the Crystalline hegemony, engineers from the Void Swarm collective, representatives from dozens of species chose to sacrifice their normal existence to join the Eternal Guardians. "We have all been touched by this ancient evil," transmitted Commander Zektar as his consciousness merged with the ship. "Let us all become part of the solution." With each new mind that joined the collective, the Eternal Wanderer became more powerful. The ship began to exist across multiple dimensions simultaneously, its influence spreading throughout the galaxy. The final confrontation was brief but decisive. The combined consciousness of dozens of species united in purpose reached out across space-time to touch every component of the ancient weapon system. Captain Kyung-min stood on the bridge of the experimental ship New Horizon, watching the massive form of the Eternal Wanderer floating in space ahead of them. The ghost ship looked different up close, its dark hull seeming to shift and change like it was made of liquid shadow. "All systems are green," reported Tactical Officer Yunji, "but I am reading some very strange energy patterns from that ship. It is like it exists in multiple dimensions at the same time." "That is exactly what it does," said Navigator Sang-woo, studying his instruments. "My sensors show it phasing in and out of normal space-time every few seconds." The volunteer crew of the New Horizon had been chosen carefully. Each person had been briefed on the dangers of making contact with the ghost ship. They knew they might not return from this mission. "Medical Officer Yu-jin reporting," came a voice over the intercom. "All crew members are showing elevated stress levels, but everyone is ready for contact." Kyung-min had volunteered to lead this mission because he understood the stakes. The alien coalition fleet was only days away from Earth. 15,000 warships carrying enough firepower to turn the planet into space dust. If humanity was going to survive, they needed to understand the truth about the Eternal Wanderer. "Open a communication channel," Kyung-min ordered. "Channel open, sir," Yunji replied. "This is Captain Kyung-min of the Terran vessel New Horizon. We request permission to come aboard." The response came immediately, spoken in that cold, distant voice they had heard before. "You may approach, children of Terra, but know that once you enter our realm you will see truths that cannot be unseen." As the New Horizon moved closer to the ghost ship, something impossible happened. The space around them began to change. The stars shifted their positions and strange colors appeared in the darkness. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist. "What is happening?" Yu-jin called from the medical bay. "We are being pulled into a pocket dimension," Sang-woo explained, his voice filled with wonder. "The laws of physics are different here. Time and space do not work the same way." The New Horizon passed through what looked like a wall of silver light. On the other side, they found themselves floating in a vast chamber inside the Eternal Wanderer. The ship was much larger inside than it appeared from the outside, with corridors that seemed to stretch for kilometers. "Landing bay is ahead," came the voice of the ghost ship. "You will find atmosphere and gravity suitable for human life." As they landed, Kyung-min could see figures waiting for them. They looked human, but something was wrong. They appeared to be made of light and shadow, their forms flickering between solid matter and pure energy. The airlock hissed open, and the crew of the New Horizon stepped onto the deck of the legendary ghost ship. The air was breathable but felt strange, charged with energy that made their skin tingle. "Welcome aboard the Eternal Wanderer," said the figure approaching them. He was tall and wore the uniform of an old-style Terran captain, but his face was translucent and stars could be seen shining through his eyes. "I am Junho Park. I was the captain of this vessel before we became what we are now." "Captain Park," Kyung-min said, offering a salute. "We need to understand what happened here. Our world is in danger and you may be our only hope." Junho smiled sadly. "Your world is in danger, but not from the alien fleets that approach. They are merely the symptom. The true disease is something far older and more terrible." He led them through corridors filled with impossible technology. The walls showed images of distant galaxies and alien civilizations. Some of the images moved, showing great battles and the rise and fall of entire species. 1,000 years ago, humanity was young and eager to explore the galaxy, Junho explained as they walked. "We built ships, established colonies, and made contact with alien species. We thought we were ready for anything the universe could show us." They entered a large chamber where two other figures waited. Both were flickering between human form and pure energy, just like Captain Junho. "This is Chief Engineer Haiwan," Junho said, gesturing to a woman whose uniform seemed to be made of starlight. "And this is Dr. Rian, our science officer." Haiwan stepped forward, her voice carrying the echo of distant thunder. "What we found in the deep reaches of space changed everything we thought we knew about the universe." "The ancient weapon system," Dr. Rian added, his form shifting like smoke. "It was not built by any species we had encountered. It was far older, created by a civilization that existed millions of years ago." The chamber around them changed, showing holographic images of a dead galaxy at the edge of known space. The stars were dark and cold, their planets turned to dust. "This was their galaxy," Junho explained. "A species that achieved perfect unity, perfect peace, perfect technological advancement. They created a paradise among the stars." "What happened to them?" asked Yujin. They realized that they were alone, Dr. Rion replied. In all their searching, they found no other species that could match their achievements. No one who could understand their art, their science, their dreams. HFY's form flickered with sadness. So they decided that if they could not have equals, no other species would be allowed to surpass them. They built a weapon system designed to prevent any civilization from achieving what they had achieved. The holographic images showed massive structures floating in space, connected by streams of energy that stretched across entire star systems. The weapon does not attack directly, Junho continued. Instead, it corrupts. It takes the greatest strengths of a species and turns them into weaknesses. It makes them aggressive, paranoid, and self-destructive. Every empire we have destroyed was infected by this corruption, Dr. Rion explained. The crystalline hegemony's unity became rigid conformity that led to stagnation and violence. The Void Swarm's collective consciousness became a hive mind that consumed everything in its path. The Ironclad dynasty's honor became blind aggression. Captain Kyung-min felt his blood turn cold. Are you saying that all the wars in galactic history were caused by this ancient weapon? Yes, Junho confirmed. It has been slowly poisoning the galaxy for millions of years, ensuring that no species could achieve true greatness. But why did it not affect humanity? Unji asked. The three transformed crew members exchanged glances that somehow conveyed volumes of information instantly. Because we stopped it, HFY said. When our deep space sensors detected the weapon system activating in response to human expansion, we knew we had to act. The transformation process was our only option, Dr. Rion explained. By merging our consciousness with the ship's dimensional engines, we became beings that exist partially outside normal spacetime. The ancient weapon cannot touch us. For 1,000 years we have been fighting a secret war, Junho said. Every time the weapon corrupts a species beyond redemption, we destroy them before they can spread their infection to others. The chamber changed again, showing images of countless battles across the galaxy. The Eternal Wanderer appeared in each one, facing impossible odds against corrupted empires that had grown too dangerous to survive. But now the weapon has learned to adapt, Junho continued grimly. It has realized that we are protecting certain species, including humanity. So it has changed its strategy. The alien coalition fleet, Sang-woo said, understanding dawning on his face. Exactly, Dr. Rion confirmed. The weapon has not corrupted them directly. Instead, it has filled them with fear of humanity, fear of the ghost ship. It has convinced them that the only way to survive is to destroy Earth. But that is not the worst part, HFY added. The coalition fleet is so large and their fear is so great that their approach to Earth has triggered the weapon's final protocol. Final protocol? Kyung-min asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. Complete galactic sterilization, Junho said quietly. If the weapon cannot control the galaxy through corruption, it will simply destroy all intelligent life and wait for evolution to begin again. The crew of the New Horizons stood in stunned silence as the full scope of the threat became clear. They were not just facing an alien invasion. They were facing a weapon system designed to end all advanced life in the galaxy. How long do we have? Eugene asked. Days, perhaps hours, Dr. Rion replied. The ancient weapon is already beginning its startup sequence. We can feel it stirring in the deep darkness between galaxies. Communications Officer Shung-min, Junho called out. Another flickering figure appeared, this one barely maintaining human shape. I have been monitoring all galactic communications, Shung-min reported. The coalition fleet is 12 hours from Earth orbit, but there are energy readings from the galactic core that suggest something much larger is coming. Captain Kyung-min looked at his crew, seeing the same determination in their faces that he felt in his heart. What can we do? The ancient weapon must be destroyed, Junho said, but it will take more than just the Eternal Wanderer to accomplish this. It will require a sacrifice greater than any species has ever made. What kind of sacrifice? Yoonji asked. Junho looked at each of them with eyes that held the sadness of 1,000 years. The kind that we made long ago. The kind that transformed soldiers into guardians and guardians into legends. As the truth finally became clear, the crew of the New Horizon realized that their mission was not just about saving Earth. Dr. Bora walked through the underground levels of the Terran archives, her footsteps echoing in the silent corridors. The investigation fleet's discovery had sent shockwaves through Earth's government. Now everyone wanted answers about the Eternal Wanderer, but the ship's name appeared in no official records. The problem is that most records from 1,000 years ago were stored on physical drives, Bora explained to Admiral Dong-hyun as they descended deeper into the archive complex. When humanity developed quantum storage, many of the old files were never transferred. They just gathered dust down here. The archive stretched for kilometers beneath Geneva, filled with the forgotten history of humanity's early expansion into space. Bora had spent her entire career studying these old records, but she had never heard of the Eternal Wanderer project. Here, she said, stopping in front of a massive vault door. Section 7 contains all the classified military projects from the pre-FTL era. If this ship existed, we should find something. It took 3 hours of searching through dusty data crystals before they found the first reference. A single line in a budget report from the year 2387. Project Wanderer, Temporal Defense Initiative, budget approved. Temporal Defense Initiative, Admiral Dong-hyun read aloud. That matches what we saw. Time-based weapons, Dr. Bora pulled up more files. The project had been massive, involving the greatest scientists and engineers of the era. The lead scientist was Dr. Wu Jin, a brilliant physicist who had published groundbreaking papers on dimensional theory. The chief engineer was Ye Jin, famous for designing the first successful faster-than-light engines. According to this, Bora said, reading from an old report, they were trying to create a vessel that could survive any threat by existing partially outside normal spacetime. The ship would be able to phase between dimensions, making it nearly invulnerable. What happened to it? Dong-hyun asked. Bora's face grew dark as she read further. Catastrophic accident during the first test flight. The entire crew was lost and the ship was destroyed. The project was shut down immediately and all records were classified. But that cannot be right, Dong-hyun said. We just saw the ship 3 days ago. That is what makes this so strange, Bora replied. Look at this. She showed him a personnel file. The captain of the Eternal Wanderer was Jun-ho Park, age 35, veteran of the Mars colony wars. He volunteered for the mission knowing it might be a one-way trip. Meanwhile, across the city, Security Chief Jae-sung was having his own disturbing discoveries. Intelligence reports were flooding in from across human space. Alien fleets were mobilizing. The major empires were forming a coalition not seen in centuries. How many ships are we looking at? Asked General Min-ho during the emergency council meeting. Conservative estimate? 15,000 warships, Jae-sung replied. They are calling it the Grand Alliance. Every major empire except the ones that have already been destroyed by the ghost ship. 15,000, Min-ho repeated quietly. Even if we mobilized every ship in the Terran Defense Force, we could maybe field 3,000 vessels. They do not want a fair fight, Jae-sung said. They want to be absolutely certain that Earth cannot threaten them. The plan is simple. Destroy humanity's homeworld, and the ghost ship will have no reason to continue its attacks. The council chamber fell silent. Outside the windows, they could see the lights of Earth's greatest city, home to 8 billion humans who had no idea their world was about to become a battlefield. How long do we have? Asked President Chen. 2 weeks, maybe 3, Jae-sung replied. They are still arguing about who will lead the fleet and how to divide the spoils after Earth falls. Spoils, General Min-ho said with disgust. They are already planning to carve up our system like a feast. While the military leaders planned Earth's defense, psychic researcher Da-eun was making her own breakthrough in a small laboratory on Luna. She had been studying the ghost ship's communication patterns, trying to understand how a human voice could carry such impossible sadness. The brainwave patterns are definitely human, she explained to Dr. Bora over a secure connection. But they have been modified in ways that should not be possible. The neural activity shows signs of artificial enhancement and dimensional phase shifting. What does that mean? Bora asked. It means the person speaking to us is not entirely alive in the way we understand life, Da-eun replied. The crew of the Eternal Wanderer did not die in that accident. They became something else, something between life and death, between matter and energy. Da-eun pulled up her analysis on the holographic display. Look at these patterns. The consciousness is distributed across multiple dimensions, existing in a state of quantum superposition. They can think and speak, but they are not bound by the normal laws of physics. How is that possible? I think the accident that supposedly destroyed them actually transformed them. They became part of their ship, merged with its dimensional engines. That would explain how they can exist outside normal time and space. Back in the archives, Dr. Bora had found more pieces of the puzzle. Hidden in the deepest classified files was a report written by Dr. Wu Jin, just days before the first test flight. "We have discovered something terrible," the report read. "Our deep space sensors have detected an ancient weapon system near the galactic core. It appears to be designed to eliminate any species that shows potential for true galactic dominance. The weapon corrupts civilizations from within, turning their greatest strengths into weaknesses that destroy them." The report continued. "The weapon has been dormant for millions of years, but our expansion into deep space may have triggered its activation. We have detected energy signatures moving toward inhabited systems. Entire species may be in danger." Dr. Bora felt her hands shake as she read the final entry. "Project Wanderer is our only hope. By existing outside normal spacetime, the Eternal Wanderer will be immune to the ancient weapon's effects. The crew has volunteered to undergo the transformation process, knowing they may never be able to return to normal human existence." "The transformation process," she whispered. Now she understood what had really happened 1,000 years ago. Admiral Dong Hyun's communication device beeped urgently. "Sir," came Jinwoo's voice. "We are detecting massive energy readings near Pluto's orbit. The ghost ship has appeared in our solar system." "Is it attacking?" Dong Hyun asked. "No, sir. It is just waiting. Floating in space like it wants to be seen." Dong Hyun looked at Dr. Bora. "They know we have been investigating them. They know we have found the truth about Project Wanderer." Suddenly, every communication device in the room activated at once. The cold, sad voice of the ghost ship filled the air, but this time it spoke directly to them. "Children of Terra," the voice said, "you have found the old records. You know what we were and what we became. The time for hiding is over. Captain Park," Dr. Bora called out. "Jun-Ho Park, is that you? I was Jun-Ho Park 1,000 years ago. Now I am something else. We are something else. We are the guardians who chose duty over death, who chose eternal service over eternal rest." "The alien fleets are coming," Admiral Dong Hyun said. "They want to destroy Earth." "We know," the voice replied. "We have been watching them gather their forces. They believe that destroying humanity will end our protection of the galaxy. They do not understand that we protect all life, not just human life." "Then help us fight them," General Minho said, joining the conversation. "We cannot," the voice said sadly. "Our mission is not to win wars for humanity. Our mission is to prevent any species from becoming so powerful that they threaten all others, even our own species." "But they will destroy Earth," Bora protested. "Will they?" the voice asked. "Or will they discover, as so many others have, that some prices are too high to pay?" The transmission cut off, leaving the humans in confused silence. Outside, the stars seemed cold and distant, filled with alien fleets preparing for war. But somewhere in the darkness between dimensions, the crew of the Eternal Wanderer continued their eternal vigil. They had been protecting the galaxy for 1,000 years, and they would continue to protect it, no matter the cost. The question was, what would they do when the greatest threat to galactic peace came not from aliens, but from the fear and hatred that their own existence had created? Time was running out, and the truth was still hidden in the shadows of the past. The ghost ship held the key to everything. But first, humanity would have to prove they were worthy of the sacrifice their ancestors had made so long ago. In the depths of space, ancient weapons stirred to life, responding to the massive military buildup around Earth. The real enemy was awakening, and soon everyone would understand why the Eternal Wanderer had spent 1,000 years fighting a secret war that nobody else even knew existed. The cantina on Andromeda Trade Nexus buzzed with nervous energy. Captain Hyun-woo sat in the corner booth, nursing his third cup of synthetic coffee while listening to the conversations around him. The alien traders spoke in hushed tones, their voices filled with fear and confusion. 3 fleets, whispered a blue-skinned merchant from the crystalline hegemony. "Gone in minutes. Just gone." The Void Swarm lost their entire third armada, added another alien, its tentacles trembling. 12,000 ships. Vanished like they never existed. Hyun-woo pushed his dark hair back and leaned forward. He had been hearing these stories for weeks now, but they were getting worse each time. As captain of the merchant vessel Soul's Pride, he traveled all over the galaxy. Everywhere he went, the same story followed him like a shadow. A human warship. A single ship that appeared out of nowhere destroyed entire fleets and disappeared without a trace. The aliens called it the Ghost of Terra, and they were terrified. Captain Kim, a familiar voice interrupted his thoughts. Hyunwoo looked up to see Ji-won, a human diplomat he had met several times during his travels. Her usually calm face looked worried. "Ms. Park," Hyunwoo replied, standing up to shake her hand. "You look like you have seen a ghost." Ji-won sat down across from him and glanced around the cantina. Most of the aliens had stopped talking and were staring at them. Being human in alien space was becoming more dangerous each day. "We need to talk," Ji-won said quietly. "Somewhere private." Hyunwoo paid for his coffee and followed her out of the cantina. They walked through the busy corridors of the trade station until they found an empty observation deck. Through the large windows, they could see the swirling colors of the Andromeda Nebula. "What is going on?" Hyunwoo asked. "Every alien I meet looks at me like I'm going to pull out a planet-killer weapon." Ji-won pulled out a datapad and showed him a series of reports. 3 major empires have suffered massive defeats in the past month. The Crystalline Hegemony lost their 7th fleet near the Outer Rim. The Void Swarm Collective had their 3rd armada wiped out in the neutral zone. And yesterday, the Iron Claw dynasty lost over 200 ships defending their border worlds. Hyunwoo studied the reports. The numbers were staggering. "How many ships attacked them?" "That is the problem," Ji-won said. "According to all witnesses, it was just 1 ship. A single human warship. That is impossible," Hyunwoo said. "1 ship cannot destroy entire fleets." "The aliens seem to think it can," Ji-won replied. "They are calling it the Ghost of Terra. Every empire in the galaxy is talking about it. Some are already planning to strike at Earth before this ghost ship can attack them." Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. "Strike at Earth? That would mean war with all of humanity." "Exactly," Ji-won said. "And the worst part is we have no idea what this ship is or where it came from. Earth's military claims they know nothing about it. It does not match any known Terran design." Before Hyunwoo could respond, footsteps echoed behind them. They turned to see Ambassador Tae-min approaching, his face grim. The older man had been Earth's representative to the galactic community for over 20 years. "I was looking for you two," Tae-min said. "We have a problem. A big one." He handed them another datapad. The screen showed a message from the Quantum Syndicate, one of the most powerful alien governments in the galaxy. "They want to meet," Tae-min explained. "All the major empires are calling for an emergency session of the Galactic Council. They want answers about this ghost ship, and if we cannot provide them, they will assume Earth is behind it," Hyunwoo finished. "Or they will decide to eliminate the threat before it grows larger," Tae-min said. The 3 humans stood in silence, watching the nebula swirl outside the window. The beauty of space seemed cold and threatening now. "There is something else," Ji-won said finally. "I received a transmission this morning from Commander So-young of the Terran Defense Force. She is coming here with classified footage of this ghost ship." "Footage?" Hyunwoo asked. "The TDF managed to track it during its last attack. They recorded the entire battle." 2 hours later, Commander So-young arrived at the trade station aboard a military transport. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and the bearing of someone who had seen too much combat. She carried a secure data case that required 3 different security codes to open. "What you are about to see is classified at the highest levels," So-young said as she set up the holographic projector in their private meeting room. "The footage comes from a stealth probe that was monitoring Ironclaw territory." The hologram flickered to life, showing empty space dotted with stars. Suddenly, hundreds of Ironclaw warships appeared, their hulls gleaming red in the starlight. They moved in perfect formation, clearly experienced warriors. "The Ironclaw dynasty sent their best fleet," So-young explained. 300 ships, including their flagship dreadnought. They were defending one of their most important worlds, then it appeared. A ship unlike anything Hyunwoo had ever seen. It was sleek and dark, seeming to bend light around it. It moved through space in ways that defied physics, sliding between dimensions like it was swimming through water. "My God," Ji-won whispered. The alien fleet opened fire immediately. Thousands of energy beams and missiles flew toward the mysterious ship. But the weapons seemed to pass right through it as if it was not entirely there. Then the ghost ship fired back. What happened next made no sense. The Ironclaw ships did not explode. They did not break apart. They simply aged. In seconds, their hulls became old and rusted. Their weapons stopped working. Their shields failed. The mighty warships crumbled like ancient ruins. How is that possible? Taemin asked. We do not know, So Young replied. Our scientists think it might be some kind of time weapon, but the technology is beyond anything we understand. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. When it was over, 300 Ironclaw ships had been reduced to scrap metal floating in space. The ghost ship hovered among the wreckage for a moment, then broadcast a message on all frequencies. The voice that came through the speakers was human, but cold and distant. It spoke with the weight of centuries behind it. No empire survives the Terran Warship. This is the truth that all must learn. The children of Terra will be protected no matter the cost. Then the ship vanished, leaving behind only empty space and the echoes of its words. The 4 humans sat in stunned silence as the hologram faded. Outside their meeting room, they could hear the nervous chatter of aliens discussing rumors and fears. That voice, Hyunwoo said slowly. It sounded human, but not like any human alive today, So Young finished. Our voice analysis suggests the speaker has been modified somehow. Changed. Changed how? Jiwon asked. We do not know. But there is something else. So Young pulled up another file. Hidden in the ship's energy signature, we found this. The hologram showed a series of numbers and letters. It looked like a standard identification code, but the format was ancient. It is a Terran ship registry, So Young explained. But according to our records, this code dates back over 1,000 years, from before humanity even achieved faster-than-light travel. Ambassador Taemin leaned back in his chair, his face pale. 1,000 years ago, we barely had colonies on Mars. How could we have built something like this? That, So Young said, is exactly what we need to find out. Because if we cannot explain this ghost ship to the galactic community, they are going to assume the worst about humanity. Through the meeting room's window, they could see alien ships arriving at the trade station. Representatives from dozens of empires were coming to discuss the human threat. Fear was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire, and humanity was at the center of it all. The ghost ship was out there somewhere, carrying its ancient secrets and impossible weapons, and time was running out to discover the truth before fear turned into war. Admiral Dong Hyun stood on the bridge of the TDF horizon, watching as alien ships took positions around his fleet. The sight made him uncomfortable. 3 weeks ago, these same species were preparing for war against humanity. Now they were supposed to work together to solve the mystery of the ghost ship. Admiral, Captain Mireille said, walking up beside him. The alien representatives are ready for the briefing. Though I still think this is a mistake. How do we know they will not turn their weapons on us the moment they learn something useful? Dong Hyun understood her concern. Mireille had fought in the border wars 10 years ago, when humanity first encountered hostile alien empires. Trust did not come easily after experiences like that. Because right now we are all afraid of the same thing, Dong Hyun replied. That ghost ship scares them more than we do. The investigation fleet was unlike anything seen before in galactic history. 12 ships from 6 different species, all working toward the same goal. Besides the human vessels, there were crystalline ships from the hegemony, biomechanical craft from the Void Swarm, and sleek vessels from the Quantum Syndicate and Stellar Republic. Sir, Communications Officer Jin Woo called from his station. We are receiving a transmission from the lead syndicate ship. They want to know our destination. Tell them we are heading to the coordinates of the Hegemony 7th Fleet battle, Dong Hyun ordered. If we want answers, we need to start where this all began. The journey to the battle site took 3 days. During that time, the different species tried to work together despite centuries of mistrust. Chief Engineer Seung-ho spent hours explaining human technology to alien scientists, while they shared their own knowledge in return. The energy readings from the ghost ship attacks are unlike anything in our databases, explained Dr. Zeth Karen, the crystalline hegemony's lead scientist. His body was made of living crystal that changed colors when he spoke. Our ship's sensors recorded temporal distortions during the battle. Temporal distortions? Seung-ho asked. You mean time manipulation? That is what our data suggests. But the energy requirements for such technology should be impossible. It would take the power output of an entire star. Xenoarchaeologist Hai Jin looked up from her research terminal. I have been studying the historical records of all the attacked fleets. There is a pattern here that everyone missed. The mixed group of humans and aliens gathered around her display. She showed them a star map with red markers indicating each attack location. Look at this, Hygiene said, pointing to the markers. Every fleet that was destroyed was engaged in aggressive expansion into neutral territory. The Hegemony's 7th Fleet was preparing to invade the free colonies near Sector 7. The Void Swarm was moving toward human space. The Ironclaw dynasty was planning to attack the Stellar Republic. Captain Mirai frowned. So the ghost ship only attacks aggressive fleets? It seems that way. But there is something else. Hyejin pulled up more data. In each case, the targeted empire had recently discovered new weapons or technologies that made them more dangerous than before. You think the ghost ship is some kind of galactic police force? Asked Commander Vextel of the Stellar Republic, his insect-like features clicking with interest. I think someone or something is trying to maintain balance, Hyejin replied, preventing any one empire from becoming too powerful. When they reached the battle site, the investigation team found a debris field stretching for thousands of kilometers. The remains of the Hegemony's 7th Fleet drifted in space like a graveyard of twisted metal and shattered crystal. Deploy the analysis drones, Admiral Dong Hyun ordered. I want samples from every ship fragment we can find. Chief Engineer Seung Ho led the analysis team aboard the salvage vessel. What they found made no sense according to any known science. The destroyed ships showed signs of extreme age, as if they had been floating in space for centuries instead of weeks. This is impossible, Seung Ho muttered, examining a piece of hull plating. The metal has been corroded by time itself. Look at these molecular structures. They show patterns of aging that should take thousands of years. The weapon systems are even stranger, added Dr. Zeth Karen. The energy conduits have crystallized in ways that suggest they were frozen in time, then rapidly aged. Whatever hit these ships can manipulate the flow of time itself. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout the fleet. Communications Officer Jinwoo's voice crackled over the intercom. All ships, we are detecting an incoming distress signal. Ironclaw frequency. They are under attack. Admiral Dong Hyun rushed back to the bridge. Where is the signal coming from? Border Sector 12, Jinwoo reported. Ironclaw patrol fleet requesting immediate assistance. They say the ghost ship has appeared. How long to reach their position? Dong Hyun asked. At maximum speed, 2 hours, the navigator replied. Do it. All ships prepare for possible combat. This might be our only chance to observe the ghost ship in action. The investigation fleet raced through hyperspace toward the Ironclaw distress signal. When they dropped back into normal space, they found chaos waiting for them. 50 Ironclaw warships were arranged in defensive formation around a mining station. Their weapons were firing at something that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. The ghost ship moved through space like a living shadow, avoiding the alien weapons with impossible grace. Recording everything, Jinwoo announced. All sensors are focused on the target. The ghost ship was exactly as the previous footage had shown, but seeing it in person was different. It seemed to exist partially in another dimension, its hull shifting between solid matter and something else entirely. My God, Captain Mirai whispered, it really is like a ghost. The Ironclaw ships continued their desperate attack, but their weapons passed through the mysterious vessel harmlessly. Then the ghost ship began its counterattack. Instead of firing conventional weapons, it seemed to project waves of energy that bent space around the alien fleet. The Ironclaw ships began to age rapidly, their hulls corroding and their systems failing. I am detecting massive temporal field fluctuations, Seung Ho reported. That ship is not just using time as a weapon. It is somehow existing outside normal temporal flow. One by one, the Ironclaw warships crumbled into space dust. Their crews never had a chance to fight back or escape. In less than 10 minutes, 50 combat vessels had been reduced to ancient wreckage. But this time, something different happened. As the ghost ship hovered over the destroyed fleet, it turned toward the investigation team. For a moment that seemed to stretch forever, the mysterious vessel faced their mixed human-alien fleet. Then a voice filled their communication channels. It was the same cold, distant human voice from the previous recordings, but now they could hear something else in it. Sadness. Ancient, terrible sadness. Children of distant stars, the voice said. Why do you seek what should remain hidden? The truth brings only pain to those who discover it. Communications Officer Jinwoo worked frantically at his station. I am getting a full scan of their communication system. The signal is coming from inside the ship, but there are strange energy patterns mixed with it. What kind of patterns? Admiral Dong Hyun asked. Human brainwave signatures, but modified somehow. changed. It is like the speaker is not entirely human anymore. The ghost ship began to fade from view, but the voice continued. We are the guardians between the darkness and the light. We are the watchers who prevent the strong from destroying the weak. We are what humanity became when the universe demanded sacrifice. Wait, Admiral Dong-hyun called out over the communication channel. We need to understand. We need to know the truth. The truth? The voice seemed to laugh, but there was no joy in it. The truth is that some prices are too high to pay, yet must be paid anyway. The truth is that we died 1,000 years ago so that life could continue. Who are you? Hyejin called out desperately. We are the crew of the Eternal Wanderer. We are the children of Terra who chose eternity over death, duty over rest. We are the price humanity paid to become worthy of the stars. The ghost ship flickered one final time and then it was gone. Only empty space remained where it had been, along with the floating debris of another destroyed fleet. The investigation team sat in stunned silence. They had found the ghost ship, but instead of answers they had only more questions. Who were the crew of the Eternal Wanderer? What had happened 1,000 years ago? And why were they still protecting the galaxy after all this time? Sir, Jinwoo said quietly, I managed to trace their energy signature before they disappeared. If my calculations are correct, they are heading toward Earth. Admiral Dong-hyun felt his blood turn cold. Set course for home. Maximum speed. Whatever this is about, it started with humanity. And that is where we will find our answers. As the investigation fleet prepared for the journey home, none of them noticed the strange readings Jinwoo's sensors had detected during the ghost ship's transmission. Hidden in the energy patterns was something that would change everything they thought they knew about humanity's past. The signal contained not just human brain patterns, but the quantum signatures of advanced technology that should not have existed 1,000 years ago, technology that could only come from one source, the future itself.